going? How's it going? I just want to talk a little bit about a lesson that my son reminded me of this week. I think he's 8, but it's something I think comes up and we don't give ourselves enough or don't give this topic enough, let's say, importance or consideration on when it comes to our own health and fitness and life in general. So my son has been really into karate this past year. So he's taken up karate as his sport of choice and he's really excelled at it. And it's been a great experience for him. And so we were at karate this week and they have the normal karate class. And then after the normal karate class, they have what they call weapons class, where in this case, he's learning how to use a bow staff. And so he pick a weapon and we practice how to use it and that type of stuff. So that's what our normal Tuesday at karate consists of, is normal karate class. And then he does about 45 minutes of additional work with the bow staff. And after his normal class is done, he came over to me and said, "Hey, Dad, I'm tired. I don't want to do weapons today." And I said, "Hey, buddy, we have a really busy week. We could either do weapons on Tuesdays or Thursdays, but Thursdays kind of busy, and I really want to not have to do it on Thursday. We'll do it on Tuesday. I know you're tired, but we can kind of push through here and just do the class." And he pushed back a little bit. Eventually, I got him to do it, right? And then later that night, I was putting to bed and doing our normal bedtime routine. And as soon as I could leave the room, which is, you have kids this age, you know that this is the time when anything important happening in their day comes out as soon as they're ready to go to sleep, right? So she says, "Oh, Dad, today we had our diagnostic testing at school." And I said, "Oh, you did?" And I said, "Which was it, reading or math?" And he said, "Oh, it was reading." And I said, "Oh, how did it go?" He said, "Oh, it was really hard. He's a great student, but reading is something is a struggle for him, struggle for me as well. So no surprise there, but reading and writing is not his favorite subjects in school." And so he had his reading diagnostic and he said, "Oh, it was tough. I didn't finish it all. I have to finish it another day," and all that stuff. And I know from past experiences how mentally draining that experience is for him. He puts a lot of pressure on himself gets a little bit stressed out when he has these diagnostic tests and stuff like that. And I had no idea. It's not if I forgot or if the teachers didn't tell us and he didn't tell me. And I eventually got him to bed and went downstairs and sat down and told my wife what happened and whatnot. And at that point, I realized, oh man, I really made a big mistake trying to tell him to. Now it makes sense why he was telling me he was tired at karate, because he had such a mentally challenging day. And I think we can all relate to that, right? I think you have a mentally tough day, whether it's just hard work or something, life stressor or something, right? This really just, you're not physically challenged, but you're mentally challenged. And that makes the physical stuff even more difficult. And in fact, what I don't give credit for here either, it is that karate is a lot of mental work in karate, especially his weapons class, because he's trying to memorize a routine. And so he has to think about it. It takes a little bit of mental effort for him to do that. And I realized that this is why he was telling me he was tired. In the moment, he didn't say, "Oh, Dad, I'm tired because I had my diagnostic test at school." He just said, "I'm tired." And I said, "Oh, we can work through this." But had I known he had his diagnostic test that day, I would have said, "Okay, buddy, we'll do weapons another time, or we'll skip it this week. Or it just doesn't happen this week," right? Either way, I would have been a little bit more lenient on the getting out of the weapons class, because realizing how much diagnostic testing for reading takes out of him, I would have realized that his body just needs a little bit more rest. And this is just something that we need to remind ourselves of. As humans, we don't expect that the mental fatigue that we experience throughout the day can really take a lot out of us and warrant a lot of more recovery. We don't give that enough credit. We just think about, I didn't really do anything physical today. Why am I so drained and tired and fatigued? Or why is this workout such a drag? Or why is it so hard for me to stick to my diet today? Or why can't I sleep or whatever? And like the mental toll of your day plays a role in all these physical things that we think about for our health. I don't usually associate the connection between the two of them, but it's a real thing. I think anyone can relate to that. I can certainly relate to it. And it's just funny to see it in an 8-year-old boy and have him punch me in the face at night and be like, oh, Dad, why'd you make me do that when I had such a rough day and I felt bad? And we all make mistakes as parents, and hindsight is 20/20, etc. But everyone experiences this. So when you have one of those days where it's just you're mentally drained and the workout is extra tough, or sticking to the normal diet can be tough or whatever, give yourself a little bit of grace. If you're planning to work out but you're mentally drained, do something more restorative. Maybe go in the sauna, or do some yoga, or go for a walk, or do something that try and beat yourself up more in the gym. And, if it's a diet thing that you're struggling with because you're mentally drained, reach first for those healthy foods, right? Try to fill up on the proteins and the fruits and the vegetables. And then if you're really just still want something to comfort you, fine, have the cookie, have the slice of cake or whatever. As long as it's the occasional thing, it's not going to do too much harm. But we have to realize that our mental state plays a big role in our health goals. And when you have those tough days, that you have to learn to give yourself a little bit of grace and switch things up and live to fight another day. It's not the end of the world. Everyone has those days. So that's sort of a little lesson I wanted to lay to everyone this week, as courtesy of my son and my own parenting fouls. But I hope it resonates with you, and keep that in mind. And if you do have kids, keep in mind for kids too, right? It's okay for them to be drained and not want to go to do the thing of the practice. Sometimes the hard part is really just kind of understanding why they might be drained, but there's probably a good reason in there. They're probably not trying to get out of something that they really love to do. With that, if you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. Happy to discuss anything. If you want to keep up with all the content that I put out, please sign up for my newsletter. That's the best way to do that. You can go to rjbhealth.coach, click on schedule newsletter. You click on the newsletter button and then enter your email address. Sign up for the newsletter. And they go out a few times a week. And then if you're just on coaching and trying to navigate the ups and downs of life and how to make it all fit with your health and wellness goals, I do have a couple of one-on-one spots open, so you can reach out to me for that. The best way to do that is to go to rjbhealth.coach. Click on the Schedule Discovery Call button on the homepage there, fill out that form. Or you can just reach out to me directly and we can chat a little bit more about that. With that, I hope everyone has a great week. Talk to y'all soon.